You're having a case of the Monday Blues. You may be about to meet your alter ego. Now, this red panda is one of the newest cartoon mascots that's striving to win hearts in Japan. And normally, she is a gentle soul, but darker emotions lurk behind her adorable face.
Hello ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I am your host, Escalante TV, and in this video I will be going over the Aggretsuko Iceberg that I made. Now if you don't know what an iceberg chart is, it is a visual graphic that studies a particular subject or fandom into categories of knowledge or facts. Typically the tip of the iceberg represents something well known about the subject, and as we go down further each layer we talk about topics that are less talked about or more obscure. For those who don't know what Aggretsuko is, it involves the life of Aggretsuko, a Japanese red panda office worker who sings death metal to vent out her frustrations and anger. It's in the name, aggressive plus Retsuko, Aggretsuko. Many of you are familiar with Aggretsuko, most likely got introduced to the property via the Netflix series that debuted in 2018. And I was introduced to the series sometime around July 2019. This summer was a special time in my life, summer 2019, as I was transitioning from high school to college. The series covered mature themes surrounding adult life that hit me hard at the time, and I often still reflect upon it to this day. Now, about 4 years after stepping into the fandom, witnessing the end of the series, and finishing college all at the same time, I thought it was about time to have a video to finally culminate the last 4 to 5 years of Aggretsuko, since it's been a staple on my channel growth and my growth in friendships along the way. Now, getting into the iceberg, my design rationale behind the chart design follows about 4 layers, taking into consideration different elements of Aggretsuko media, merchandise, characters, the fandom, and overall discourse surrounding the property. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Rareko. This is Rareko, or Rarecho as some might pronounce it. For a time I pronounced it Rarecho, but I think the correct pronunciation is Rareko. So he is the main director of the show and also the death metal voice of Retsuko in the Japanese dub. Yes, he is in charge of the stories, of the lore. This man is a scary genius and probably spoke to most millennials and Gen Z with the life messages that Aggretsuko had to offer. His priorities lie in creating fundamentals of the story surrounding work culture in Japan. Not much is known about his real name, since he tends to work with the pseudonym for much of his career. He also has quite a tenure as a director and scriptwriter for other animes. This man is around his 50s, so Aggretsuko isn't exactly his first rodeo. Another fun fact, apart from Rareko being the death metal voice for Retsuko, his wife Cowlip is also credited as being the regular voice for Retsuko in the Japanese dub. Yeti. Yeti is cited as the main creator of Aggretsuko, mainly the artist behind designing the characters like Rarecho, Rareko. She uses a pseudonym to remain anonymous and takes it a step further by wearing an Aggretsuko face mask in certain pictures or interviews. Her first televised interview can be seen on this segment from CNN in 2017, where she is wearing a full Retsuko cartoon mask. She's also made a couple of known appearances in the US. The first announcement was during the San Francisco Den of Rage pop-up event in 2018, and likewise in this picture dated in 2019 by the looks of a Reddit user, Taro Cups. The Den of Rage event that what Yeti went to was advertised to have limited edition merch from Japan, a photo op with the iconic Retsuko mascot costume, and VIP experiences. OVA shorts. Before the debut of the Aggretsuko Netflix anime, Aggretsuko began its first animated run as a series of 1-minute shorts from April 2nd, 2016 to March 31st, 2018. The shorts aired alongside a Japanese variety show called King's Brunch. In comparison, if you know your animation history, The Simpsons also started as a series of shorts in 1987 on the Tracy Ullman Show. On the official King's Brunch website, you can see remnants of Aggretsuko Shorts era merchandise in the bottom right corner. Watching the first 100 shorts can be a bit hard to access. You may catch some clips lingering on different video sharing websites, or better yet, you actually can unlock all the shorts playing the Aggretsuko mobile game, which I'll get it later into in this iceberg. Also, if a Japanese dub doesn't satisfy, a fan dub was actually made of the shorts, and it is available to watch in English on Dailymotion, which was uploaded by the user FoxMattVA. Interestingly enough, if you want to own Aggretsuko, some of the shorts got a couple of physical media releases. DVD number 1 is described as having shorts 1 through 15, while DVD number 2 contains shorts number 16 through number 31. I found a few online listings for them. Amazon lists them between $50 to $80 depending on added shipping costs. The listings also warn to be careful when you buy these, as the DVDs are reported to be region locked to only work on specific DVD players corresponding to what Amazon considers to be Region 2, which includes DVD players with region codes from Japan, Europe, South of Africa, Egypt, and the Middle East. Netflix series. The Aggretsuko Netflix series had a streaming run from April 20th, 2018 to February 16th, 2023, consisting of 5 seasons. The seasons consist of 10 roughly 15 or so minute episodes, except for the season finales being a few minutes longer than the rest. The show is dubbed in 8 languages other than Japanese and subbed in 25 other languages. The Netflix series has received an overall positive reception over the years for its relatable storytelling and characters. Some seasons are not received as positively as others and may have pushed some of you to cancel your Netflix subscription or watch something entirely else. Christmas special. To fill in the gap between Season 1 in 2018 and the up-and-coming Season 2 in summer 2019, a 30-minute long Christmas special was released on December 20th, 2018. This closes a cliffhanger left in Season 1 and tells the story from the perspective of both Haida and Retsuko, Haida mostly trying to cope with not getting the girl and engaging in simp-like behavior. That surely won't be a problem in later seasons. Oni Press Comics. In collaboration with Sanrio and the Oni Press Publishing Company, there exists a run of paperback and digital Aggretsuko comics. They also make Scott Pilgrim comics, fun fact. Not to be confused with manga, a Japanese graphic novel with a limited color palette. The comics solely got a Western-only release, and the comics ran from 2020 to 2022 as the license for the property expired. When you go on the Oni Press website today and the comics appear to be delisted, you can also still find the comics on other storefronts or used ones for sale if you're interested in picking them up and giving them a read, so you can meet characters exclusive to the comics like Karen, the Canadian Goose, Ray, and Mr. Penn. Also, if you don't have time or the doubloons to get the comics, I just so happened to review a couple of the issues in the past. I'll probably include links to those in the description. Instagram. Ah yes, Instagram. The photo sharing platform is prevalent in Aggretsuko's marketing and mentioned by a few times throughout the series. It's been used as a plot device in the series as characters like Sonoda use it to gain clout, or Feneko's favorite pastime to stalk people on her phone. As for our reality, there does exist an official Aggretsuko account that posts screenshots from the show, your average Facebook safe for advertiser memes and random cosplays. There were signs of a real Aggretsuko Instagram that would post things similar to the character in the show. From what I've seen, the account may not exist anymore, but there does exist a fan Aggretsuko Instagram account with the same handle that Retsuko has in the show. TikTok. Back in 2021, I made a video where I discovered an official Aggretsuko TikTok account. It's interesting to say the least, as this features Retsuko and Rage Retsuko in the mascot costume in action, doing dances and all the sorts. It's still mostly filled with the same Facebook type comedy of Mondays are rough and hang in there type of work humor. The account still posts regularly as of making this video if you want to go check it out. Merchandise. Retsuko being a marketable figure, it's a given that much of this Angry Red Panda is in all sorts of merchandise. Mugs, t-shirts, sweaters, cushions, plushies, minifigurines, Funko Pops, An official card game, too, exists with Aggretsuko and all sorts of characters. And an official Aggretsuko automaton, you know, those weird-looking soup ladle instruments that squawk and squeak. So you too can recreate your favorite Aggretsuko songs or something. Most of the merchandise that's seen mostly features Aggretsuko, apart from some of the side characters being featured as collectible figurines or the few plushies that exist of Haida and Feneko. I think Sonoda is somewhere in there.
Hell is real!
Food. If you're hungry for some Aggretsuko treats, there's no need to fret because now you can eat all sorts of chucherias and meriendas, as they say in Spanish. These candies and treats seem to be available online if you don't have a little Tokyo or Oriental store near you. Here's some of the stuff you may find online listings for. You can buy ramune soda candy, roasted wasabi green peas, potato chips, snowflake crackers, and the infamous Aggretsuko energy drink.
Energy drink. So let's just go ahead and give this a try.
Drink at your own risk, by the way. Anyway, you can also get these snacks bundled in some Sanrio anime-themed boxes, apart from some marshmallow pops that may exist of Aggretsuko's head that have been spotted in the wild at some 7-Elevens, but I can't exactly confirm whether they're available at select ones or Japanese ones. And finally, if you want to also get your spice on, you can also feel free to get a spicy rage with your ghost pepper hot sauce that was released around September 2022. A lesser known product that I found about is an Aggretsuko themed lager if you're 21 and older, and you too could get cronked like Aggretsuko in the show. I don't drink, but if for those who are interested, I don't know if you can still acquire these drinks. According to the company that they did a collab with, Young Master, it looks like to have been sold at some certain Circle K convenience stores. Some reviews describe the beverage as having a spicy aftertaste. Mobile game. You can play Aggretsuko on your phone anywhere you go. At the park, at the work, and at the toilet. Yeah, so there exists an Aggretsuko mobile game called The Short Timer Strikes Back. There's not much to talk about the gameplay other than it's your run-of-the-mill Bejeweled or Candy Crush clone where you match the cute little faces to make 3 and then they explode. The only added benefit of the app is that it's one of the more accessible ways to watch the original 100 shorts, apart from stepping into a shady website to watch them. If you also want to catch Aggretsuko in another game, she's also in the game Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And no, not the South Park game, this is real.
Butters, you said you're on your computer all the time.
Yeah, but I'm playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure is available, I think, on some Macs, and you can play it on Apple Arcade. According to the game's wiki, she can be found in a location called Mount Hothead, and her daily gifts include dough. Just dough. You can get bread for dough from her. OTM Girls. During season 3 of the Netflix series, Aggretsuko bumped into an idol group called the OTM Girls after accidentally hitting the idol group's manager Hyoda with her car. The group consists of Hidaren, Manaka, and Migi, all of their names also corresponding to their positions on stage. Hidaren and Migi are twin sisters, by the way. OTM is short for the abbreviation for the Otemachi financial district in Tokyo, right up in Aggretsuko's alley. The OTM Girls post Season 3 have also been marketed as almost a standalone spin-off property, as the OTM Girls have their website with a separate merchandise line, interesting enough. The OTM Girls also have their own YouTube channel, which consists of short animated clips of the girls talking about whatever in IRL dance performances. The earlier uploads consist of the same animation quality as you see in the show, but as the uploads started to slow down and eventually stop, you can also see a slight cut in animation quality, with the girls having simpler designs and a decline in the frames used in the animation. I'm guessing the Fanworks animation crew had to cut back, knowing the series is eventually coming to an end, and I'm not sure what was going on behind the scenes from the looks of it all. Sanrio tried to create their own animated Big Time Rush type of music group and simply shelved the OTM Girls after Aggretsuko ended. Some interesting source material around the OTM Girls is that they were largely inspired by similar Japanese idol groups like Baby Metal and a bit of 8KB48, which I think stands for Akibara. Also, Roreko may have taken a page from the movie A Perfect Blue for the plot of season 3, of having Retsuko as an idol that gets stalked. A more chilling parallel is that the scene in season 3 where Retsuko gets attacked, shared real-life parallels to other incidents of idols getting attacked and stalked. In one case, a stalker found the location of a pop idol, Matsuoka Ena, through the reflection of her eyes to meet her. In another gruesome incident, Mayu Tomita was stabbed multiple times with a pocket knife by a stalker back in May of 2016. The incident led to the revision of anti-stalking laws in Japan. NFTs. With the rise of crypto collectibles and non-fungible tokens, Sanrio is trying a little hard to keep Aggretsuko relevant for some reason. Still, sometime around late 2022, Sanrio collabed with the digital trading card company Tibbles. Essentially, you spend money to own exclusive digital-only animated cards that have no functionality other than to stare at cute little Aggretsuko pictures and claim that you own it, which so anybody could just cop with a simple screenshot. I don't know who this app was meant for, but it still exists, like Mermaid Man says.
Mermaid Man says, buy more cards!
LA Chargers. Did you know that Aggretsuko made a brief cameo in the NFL? Well, there exists a video online made by the LA Chargers, the football team, announcing their 2023 season schedule in different anime styles. And around 1 minute 45, a very familiar art style appears. Straight up, it's Tadano's evil clone or something as a Denver Bronco. I'm not much of an NFL fan, so I don't have no clue about this, but I have to give credit to my guy, Merc Samurai 09, for sharing this on a Discord server I was in. Risasuke. Risasuke is considered to be the first suitor or first potential boyfriend Retsuko tries to date in the original shorts and season 1 of the show. Risasuke is often referred to as a space cadet, doesn't talk much, and he's really into plants. Why he is called a space cadet doesn't mean he works for NASA or anything, but according to Merriam-Webster, it's a slang word to refer to a flaky, lightheaded, or forgetful person. A significant amount of people theorize that Risasuke may be neurodivergent and may be autistic because of his lack of awareness when it comes to social situations and social cues. Keep in mind, this is just a theory, and by no means is it taken as fact, only said to be based on observation. Risasuke wasn't seen again after season 1, and after a brief cameo during the Christmas special. Take this with a grain of salt, but my headcanon theory, this is what he was probably axed with his friend Maru as the sales department looked low on staff, and it was probably canned before or during Haida and Himuro's employee purges during season 4. Tadano. After briefly dating Retsuko in season 2, Tadano is the rich guy and the chill guy of Aggretsuko. The rich and the chill guy who's hip with the kids. However, the donkey man has some interesting ideas in mind. The man believes late-stage capitalism is a burden and that it needs to go, and AI will eventually replace everyone's jobs. Also, he may have possibly rigged the dating app and he bought the internet Cafe Aldo himself that was converted as a base of operations for Retsuko's campaign. No one knows what this donkey's game is or what his game is in the long run, but the man is an intriguing figure indeed. Another thing that can be taken with a grain of salt is he seems to almost be a prophetic figure at times, especially with the rise of AI, especially with AI almost being sentient. And but it looks like Roreko tried to cook with this character, but was cut short to serve as a plot device later in the series. Take that with a grain of salt again. That's just my headcanon theory on Tadano. Buko. This pink cougar is another supporting character in Aggretsuko, but not much is really known about her other than she's Retsuko's high school friend and she owns a special import store. After season 2, she dipped and was never seen again. Who knows what she's up to, but judging it's an import business, I don't know what she was selling. Maybe it was a little bit more than selling Twinkies on the corner. Kara. This character is only exclusive to the original shorts, and doesn't seem to appear again after a few shorts, but she does interact with Retsuko on certain occasions, venting her problems at work or asking for money when she doesn't want to pay for something like Retsuko's birthday dinner. After that, we don't see this caracal again, this big floppa. It's a shame we didn't get to see her in the Netflix series. Anai. Both the character from the shorts and the main Aggretsuko series, he makes the appearance as the new guy at work and that he has a hard time adjusting. A lot of analyses on the internet have been done on Anai to figure out why he started the way he did. There was a video that became popular by the YouTuber Brotakutsa that he's a byproduct of a Japanese high achievement culture going into what they call cram schools and never got the space to learn or apply himself properly, socialize within the workplace, and gain practical experience. He represents almost an entitled Gen Z with little experience in how to deal with the mistakes or confrontation. It's why his character was known to fight battles with emails. Some character development later happened to Anai where he applied his passion for cooking to writing a cookbook and eventually getting a girlfriend publisher in the process. Oh yeah, and I'm also not going to forget Kabai was also in that equation to help Anai develop as she helped him kind of mellow out. Retsuko's father. Retsuko's father is merely mentioned by name a couple times by Retsuko's mother. He's absent for most of the series until the final season. He was mentioned to have attended a funeral during the events of season 3. Still, it's mostly theorized that his work as a photographer or his heart condition prevented him from being present in most of the series, unlike Retsuko's mother. Maybe it was all a cover story, for all we know. Maybe he could have been slaughtering zombies in a mall or something. Shipping. This is very common in some fandoms. No matter what a group of people, what they're going to do is pair character X with character Y because they shook hands in a scene and now they share chemistry. Some of the popular ships include Haida x Feneko, Haida x Retsuko, Haida x Tadano, Haida x Inui, Sonoda x Komiya, Sonoda x Feneko. And has anyone noticed that 80% of the ships involve Haida, and that Haida needs to be with everyone he meets? He shakes hand with one character, and then you let the fan artists make the lore from there. Villains. Who is the real villain of Aggretsuko? It's a question and a word that gets passed around when it comes to fandom discussions. Some say Mr. Tone, the unhinged fan, Humuro, Haida, Jiro Haida, Haida's brother, Haida's dad, and maybe Tadano were the villains this whole time. Aggretsuko embraces a lot of conflicts in its plot, and it's hard to label someone as the sole villain as it takes on man versus self, man versus society type of themes. If we were to frame this in a man versus society take, we could put down a good portion of Haida's family maybe, but we still don't know who tried to run over Haida with a truck though. Kabai is a spy. This was a running joke since season 1 of the show, but Kabai has some strange lore behind her. Everyone thinks she's a spy and works in corporate espionage ever since Mr. Tone said that she was calling from her cell, and somehow Mr. Tone confused her calling out of work from her cell phone for being in jail. It was a joke that flew over my head the first time, but they went with this joke and committing to it, where Kabai actually does commit corporate espionage in season 4 of the show. Haida's band. Sometime around season 4, it's revealed that Haida is indeed in a band of sorts, or was in a band, and it's not known what his history being in a bassist, other than some hinting that he started playing an acoustic guitar he had at home while joining a band somewhere around high school, and somehow decided he'd just pick up the bass instead and go with it. Prequel manga. Around late 2020, Sanrio would release some sort of Aggretsuko manga adaptation in a Japanese magazine. The manga is a prequel and canon to the Netflix series, detailing Retsuko's life during elementary school. I learned about this manga from a reliable YouTube friend for Aggretsuko News at the time, and only provided 12 pages in a PDF file. A while before he left YouTube, he said he had a hard copy of the manga in its entirety, and then dipped. Some of you know who I'm talking about, but I'll get into him later in the iceberg. You can still find the 12-page PDF file of the manga and a loose translation on Reddit if you search up Aggretsuko prequel manga, uploaded by deleted user. Back around 2020, 2021, I remember also obtaining a link to see a listing for this Aggretsuko prequel manga, but little did I have a concern that it would become lost media if I didn't save it, but now I forgot about the link. I don't have it saved. Now the prequel manga, 3 years later, it's very much leaning to be lost media, considering that a full version is still out there. Screw you, capitalism. Back in season 3, Retsuko vented out her frustrations in a death metal song that had people question if Retsuko just decided to get political. Well, it's a show detailing the plight of office workers in Japan, and especially told from a female perspective. It's gonna get political in a sense. Anyway, in the English dub of the song, Retsuko can be heard screaming, "Screw you, capitalism." Just that line got people, and even myself, to wonder if Retsuko is a communist, because if so, it doesn't look like she doesn't look like the type to go work in a steel factory for 15 hours or pick carrots in a communal farm and sing about the glorious fiery genius of Marx and Engels. I don't think really anyone wants to, though. Well, it looks like it might not be the case, because in the Japanese dub, Retsuko says something along the lines, instead of saying "screw you, capitalism," instead she says "screw all this," and somehow she said some sort of idiom in the song that got lost in translation. If you want to know the nuts and bolts of Japanese to English translation, I recommend checking out this video by Sarah Moon, which does a pretty good job of analyzing the lyrics of this particular Aggretsuko song. Haida ASMR. For some reason, there exists a small subgenre on YouTube dedicated to Haida ASMR. They either include some odd animated scenarios, actual people in custom fursuits, or a VTuber model of Haida. I don't know how this trend happened or what phenomenon caused this, but because I guess Haida is a popular character, he's a recognizable face, furry face in Aggretsuko, the internet, I guess some guys on the internet decided to get creative and decided it'd be a good idea for Haida to patty cake your face and make ASMR sounds in the microphone to stimulate you. I don't know. These exist. You can go check them out. Animated memes. Every fandom has a subgenre of people animating their own characters dancing, or to do a song or do this or that. Typically, if it's a younger audience, they'll go on Flip a Clip and you'll be like, yeah, a kid made that. When it comes to memes, the one that comes to my mind is that one animation of all the Aggretsuko characters doing the Grubhub dance. Not that old, but 2021, the Grubhub ad was circulating around, and yes, there does exist an animation, a meme animation of the Aggretsuko characters dancing to the Grubhub ad song. It exists. It's a daily reminder that the internet is a very creative space. Lil Fix. So this was the guy that gave me the Aggretsuko prequel manga. He was my main source of news. But if you were around between 2018 to 2023 in the Aggretsuko space of the internet, you may have run into his YouTube channel. He produced Aggretsuko content, memes, shitposts, and all sorts of projects. In the end, he sadly deleted his channel back in February of 2023 and haven't seen him since. All his socials went defunct and he left to focus on an animation career instead. By the way, I remember this from the man that he also met Ben Diskin online, the actual English dub voice of Haida, and got a signed portrait of Kaylin Galt, the voice of Feneko in the English dub. Also, he has all the pages of the manga still. He never gave me the full book. He still has the book. You have lost media in your hands, man. So wherever you are, maybe one day you could come back and give us the whole Aggretsuko prequel manga if you still have it. I would appreciate it. But if not, hey, it's cool. We're good with 12 pages for now. Raging Red Panda. He's another Aggretsuko YouTuber and probably one of the last few left. I met this guy sometime around July 2020 when his channel was known as Aggretsuko Abridged. He was involved in some of Lil Fix's projects too, but mainly Raging Red produced some of his own content, like an abridged version of Aggretsuko similar to what Team 4 Star did with DBZ. He makes memes, clips, compilations, and voiceover dubs of the Oni Press comics. You can go ahead and still check out his channel. It's still up. Check out the content that he has on Aggretsuko stuff. Comic dubs. Another Aggretsuko subgenre on YouTube is the comic dubs. Usually they consist of fan meme comics, or where there's not really a lot, but the most notable one was an alternate scenario comic if Retsuko said yes to Haida in season 1, and it's an early idea of a Haida and a Retsuko shipping. But in terms of the Oni Press comics, the only work I've seen on some of them is, like I previously mentioned, Raging Red Panda. His series did get some recognition on spaces on the internet at some point. I do remember someone animating a portion of them on Reddit, but since then I haven't been able to find them. Aggretsuko Abridged. Another one of Raging Red's projects. This was supposed to be a full abridged dub of the Aggretsuko series. I do remember a good portion of the episodes were dubbed and posted somewhere on a Google Drive due to Netflix copyright claiming and blocking the videos. All that survives of the Aggretsuko Abridged project is a 10-minute clip compilation by Raging Red Panda. There was another Aggretsuko Abridged one-shot project done by someone else, but I have been unable to find it or where it is anymore. After Hours. This was another fan project by Lilfix, and with the help of Sequoia 101, another user on YouTube. It was largely inspired by Raging Red's Abridged project, however, it was built more like an 18+ shitposty audio drama. I made 2 videos on this project back in 2020, and since then there was a full version uploaded to Raging Red's channel, but as of this recording, there's no sight of it anymore. There were plans to make a movie-length story to conclude the After Hours story saga, the fan fiction, but since then there hasn't been any word from Sequoia, who was last working on the project. The canonical timeline. This is my contribution to the Aggretsuko lore discussion, mostly what is considered canon to the Netflix series. If you want to go more in depth, you can also watch my other video on this, but based on observation, the Aggretsuko Netflix series looks to follow some chronological time skips and time frames of when things happen in the show. Season 1 looks to take place sometime around 2018, and Season 2 features a time skip to another about a year, according to Anai's emails being timestamped around July 2019. If we want to go back further, the Aggretsuko prequel manga looks to take place around 2002, judging if Retsuko was 25 around 2018. If we did the math of her being in the 3rd grade around the time of the manga, also something I didn't mention in my timeline video is that I think Rereko also confirmed Retsuko's birth date around the early 90s with a conversation he had with Lilfix. I need to find that, but it was an interesting look at what really is confirmed as canon. So Retsuko is canonically, I guess, a millennial. She was for sure born around the early 90s, and if we were to make a time skip into the 2020s, Retsuko is almost 30, so we're starting to feel old here now. Meat. For shows featuring animal people, they seem to have an appetite for meat. Retsuko wanted to stop by to eat at a steakhouse in Season 3, and somehow Feneko doesn't like meat in the shorts. This brings a lot of questions to how meat and animal people mix. Are certain ones considered civilized, and some not? Are there cattle farms, chicken farms?
Chicken.
Pig farms? What were the yakisoba octopus sausages made of, Lanai? Probably a sinister conspiracy I thought of a while back is that there may be a black market similar to Beastars where everyone bites each other's fingers. World War II. There was a throwaway line that Haida's dad gave in his rant in Season 5 about Japan rebuilding itself from the ashes of a lost war. This gives a whole lot of perspective of World War II happening, and it just gives dark implications of World War II happening in a place, in a world that looks like Aggretsuko. That means that Emperor Hirohito existed, and the other Axis leaders like the Austrian painter, and let's not forget about Benito Tortellini. And I wonder what this all could have looked like in universe. But besides that, I think the real question: what would Juzo Haida, what would Haida's dad think? What were his thoughts about Nanjing? What were his opinions on Japanese war crimes? I think that's the real question right there.
No, we did not commit any war crimes.
70s student movement. Aggretsuko's design philosophy is certainly intriguing regarding the history of kawaii culture and how the Sanrio characters fall into this kawaii ecosystem. There's a definition that's been put on the word kawaii, which it means something sweet, innocent, and childlike. People have done sociological analyses on why kawaii culture is a thing. Like, one example is that at the end of the 60s and into the 70s, there was a series of global youth student movements all around the world. Japan wasn't left out of that phenomenon as young people took to the streets and embraced the culture of rebellion during the 70s. Women, especially during this time, would start a trend in writing in childlike characters and rejecting adult responsibilities and being anchored into overbearing motherhood. As for Aggretsuko, it kind of checks the boxes in looking into the kawaii design philosophy and looking into Sanrio's design philosophy to create a cute character that appears to be for kids but has proven to still attach to a mature audience that's coming of age. I think that's my piece on what Aggretsuko means. I kind of looked at articles that discuss this more in depth. Articles on Vox and CNN when they were covering Aggretsuko and Sanrio some time ago. You can almost make a school essay out of this, which I did for my final paper, fun fact, in my rhetoric and capitalism class during my senior year, the fall of my senior year back in college. Physical media. I know I talked about physical media when it came to the Aggretsuko shorts earlier in the Iceberg, but some conversations that have seemed to fall into obscurity include the possibility of the Aggretsuko Netflix series having a physical release. If you look up Aggretsuko's physical release, physical media, all you can get is maybe one or two people having a conversation about it. A reality that kind of set in is that you don't own Aggretsuko, and you may not be able to own Aggretsuko because the digital age has been a blessing and a curse for some, and as we start to see media industries as a whole go digital only, such as video games, movies, and music, spending money and owning these things is starting to slowly become a thing of the past. Today, you can buy the DVD collection of Beastars or even own a DVD copy of All Quiet on the Western Front, both Netflix streaming exclusives, yet for preservation reasons, we don't have an official Aggretsuko physical media release yet. FNF mods. If you aren't familiar with the game Friday Night Funkin', it's an animated rhythm game where you have to match the arrow keys to the beat, but there does exist an Aggretsuko mod for the game if you want to play as Aggretsuko matching the beats in the game. The Aggretsuko modding community isn't too big, but there is one more game you can play as Aggretsuko characters in. In the game Sonic Robo Blast 2, you can mod the game to add racing carts, and you can add mods on top of the mods, so you can play as Retsuko or Sonoda in Grav's Kart Character Pack, which is the file that's listed on that. And you can also play as... Okay, we're moving on. Aggretsuko. If you use the popular chat gaming site Discord, you already are a gamer, and you've chatted with all sorts of your friends, and you've joined different servers around your favorite hobbies or games. Sanrio has never created an official Aggretsuko Discord server, but people have taken matters into their own hands and have created unofficial Aggretsuko-oriented servers where the fandom can interact with each other. The most popular one I've seen is Aggretsuko, which got nuked some time ago due to spam or hacking attempts. I'm not too sure, but I heard the server was toxic and filled with entitled people over ships and opinions about the show. So clearly just a group of people who never touched grass, and probably you may need to stay away from them. NSFW animation. We're about to get into some gooning territory, because according to Rule 34, if it exists, there's corn of it. There's lots of corn. One animator who has gained a bit of infamy is Canary Primary. If you search his name on YouTube, you will see SFW, Safe for Work, versions of the animations he's made. And he's also known to do other franchises as well. The Aggretsuko animations in question induce a shock value of sorts to them because it's so close to the Fanworks animation style, which brought so much attention to where, like, you're almost like, dang, I don't remember this happening in Aggretsuko, and I certainly don't remember Retsuko or whoever, female character, Feneko, Inui, trying to get on with it with the hyena man. Yeah, so watch at your own risk. Raging Reds Club. If you've been around different corners of the Aggretsuko fandom, especially if you use Discord and you didn't join the Aggretsuko Discord server, maybe you joined other Discord servers, you may have run into Raging Red Panda's Discord server. Originally, it was called the Aggretsuko Abridged Discord server. Now it's more of a hangout place. The last time I was there, I saw a few recognizable faces from the fandom stop by this server. But now, through years of bad characters and weird people stopping by, and I've looked at the server activity over the years, it's kind of slowed down, despite the server having a good amount of people join. There was only like 1 to 4 people still active on that server. I joined the server back in August of 2020, and in those 3 years, I never felt a sense of community, of friendship in the fandom before, in any type of fandom. I don't have many memorable things from my college days, but the people I met there were the closest I could call friends. I have to just give thanks for all the people that have been kind of nice on that server, and it's been a pleasure to talk to them. But maybe one day we'll talk again. But yeah, that was my experience in the fandom. I've made memories in that group, talking about each season, looking forward to the next season, shit posting, having laughs. It was kind of a blast for those few years. That's all I'll say about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time now. It's time to say goodbye to an era and a staple on my channel. This is all that I can give, all that remains when it comes to Aggretsuko. Watching the show and being part of the fandom was kind of a coming-of-age experience. I know it sounds corny, but I experienced a lot of this going into my 20s, going through my time finishing college, and I just thought it was time to create something to finally say goodbye to this chapter of my channel. If something worth covering on this property ever comes up, I'll be sure to check it out, make a video on it. But for now, it's time to wrap things up and move on to the next chapter to the next era of my channel. It was kind of a good experience just coming back and reviewing Aggretsuko, going back over some of the small tidbits, fun facts, make this video, make this a creative experience, and really wrap things up, put things to a close finally, get some closure on this. But until then, folks, I'll see you guys in the next one. Going into the next chapter, going into it, making more content on different things, but I will always remember Aggretsuko and the people that I hung around with, and just the good times. Remember the good times and live life, and stay safe, and be good out there. Anyways, if you guys want to stay tuned for more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.